Well, it's time now for a little culture on the programme, and for that we can speak to Olivia Salazar-Winspear, who's in the south of France for us, covering the Cannes Film Festival. Now, Olivia, you've been keeping up with all the new releases there competing for the top prize, the Palme d'Or, but last night's red carpet had a little extra sparkle. Tell us why.
Last night, the festival hosted a gala ceremony to mark the 75th edition. Now, that meant that there were a collection of stars on the red carpet. We had Jake and Maggie Gyllenhaal, Kristen Stewart, Wim Wenders, Viggo Mortensen. We had anyone who's anyone from French cinema, including quite a few past Palme d'Or winners and jury presidents. And it really is quite an achievement for Cannes, because since this event got started in 1946, it's only had to be cancelled twice. That was, of course, in 2020 because of the pandemic, and then in 1968 during the student riots in Paris when the event was called off. Let's take a little look back at the history of the Cannes Film Festival.
Stepping out for a special soirée. Award-winning directors and the best and the brightest stars of French film were all in attendance to celebrate France's seventh art, cinema.
It all started here, really. The Cannes Film Festival is part of my childhood, so for me it's an honor to be in the films shown here.
We're
going to come back soon for the 80th anniversary, 85th. What's important is to come back every 5 years and that this festival continues to exist.
For some filmmakers, the festival transformed their careers. People like French director Claude Lelouch.
I was born in 1937 and then again in 1966.
That was when his film A Man and a Woman wowed the critics and the jury. It won the top prize, the Palme d'Or, and marked the beginning of a love story between Lelouch and the festival.
The festival is quite fearless, and they don't snub the past either. The young talents are welcome here, and the older generation is respected. If you love cinema, then you definitely love Cannes.
But it's not all been plain sailing. Like the screening of Marco Ferreri's La Grande Bouffe in 1973, or Revolt, when the French New Wave directors stood in solidarity with those protesting in Paris in 1968, which saw the festival called off. But the glamorous side prevails, and every year there's the magic of the celebrity arrivals on the red carpet.
I managed to get a shot of Sharon Stone when she's getting out of the car. I was lucky because she's looking into my lens.
C'est un des festivals les plus reconnus et glamorous of the world.
Not bad for a 75-year-old starlet.
Festival de Cannes.
I look back there at some of the big moments of the Cannes Film Festival in the last few decades. And Olivia, speaking of film history, you've got news of a feature screening today that takes us back to 1962.
Yes, Orson Welles' film, The Trial, is showing in the Cannes Classic Sidebar. That film's been lovingly restored by Studio Canal 60 years later. Now, the film was an adaptation of that notorious Kafka novel in which the central character, Joseph K., played here by Anthony Perkins, wakes up and is arrested mysteriously for a crime he's unaware of. Now, Jeanne Moreau, Romy Schneider and Elsa Martinelli play the women in his life, and Orson Welles himself plays the lawyer defending him. That film actually premiered in Paris in 1962, got a very good reception there, but reviews were quite mixed elsewhere. Welles himself, however, said that The Trial is the finest film I've ever made, and it's true that the Cannes Classics section has some real gems for movie fans. We've already had Martin Scorsese's The Last Waltz in a restored version here, and we will be having a new version of Singing in the Rain on Friday.
And Olivia, you've also been catching up with a new British film directed by Charlotte Wells.
Yes, this screened in the Director's Fortnight. It's called Aftersun, and it got a really strong reception from the critics here. It comes from Scottish first-time director Charlotte Wells, as you mentioned. The story's set in the late 1990s, and it follows a young father as he takes his daughter on holiday to Turkey. It's a real look at that parent-child dynamic in a place where both of them have the time and energy to get to know each other and to relax. This is a really atmospheric piece with slow, shimmering photography, and it's also a rare exploration of post-divorce parenthood, which the director actually says was inspired by her own experience with her father. We got a chance to sit down with the actor playing that young man, Paul Mescal. He plays Callum, that father, and he tells us a bit more about that character.
He's a young father. He's from Edinburgh, living in London. He is separated from Sophie's mother, and he's on holidays with his daughter. He's a man who is wrestling, I think, with being a young father in the world, being a good father, trying to be a good person in the world, trying to achieve his own personal ambitions, and kind of, I think, wrestling with his own shortcomings, or where his discomfort with the world, and his mental health is in a bad place when we encounter him in the film. But I think fundamentally he's somebody who loves his daughter very much and finds it hard to love himself.
You can check out the full interview with Paul Mescal in Encore in Cannes, our daily show. That's on France 24 at 10:15 Paris time this evening. That'll be on our website as well.
Olivia, enjoy it. Thanks very much. Olivia Salazar-Winspear for us there live at Cannes. It's time for a short break from us here in the newsroom. Do stay tuned.